Make way for the master poet.
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island. A lorry abandoned. The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. It takes a few moments, but eventually the transceiver slides from its greased socket mount with an eminently satisfying ching.
Funny, isn't it? The lady driver used this same radio to evade coalition authorities, and now you are using it to contact them directly. It's just ironic, that's all.
Where the radio used to be, there's just a rectangular shadow now. It's about the size of a small box of pasta, but much heavier. Now that you're looking at it more closely, you realize the various dials and meters make it look vaguely like a face. A distinctive triangular logo forms the nose. That's the mark of Esteaz Electronica, one of the major manufacturers of advanced radio equipment.
You've surprised me more than once during the course of our investigation, but I have to say it still seems like a remote scenario. And Esteraz is certainly nothing to sniff at, but if you compare the feature sets, I would say they are more or less equivalent. It should, assuming we can find a way to replace the frequency dial.
The movie stars are still smiling from the walls, but there's a rectangular shadow where the radio used to be. The pull-out toolbox lies hidden under the driver's seat. Some tools have been left scattered near the pedals. You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench, have been casually thrown there by the disorganized driver. But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper. Sandpaper adds extra grip. The movie stars are a metallic drawer slides out. It's an issue of Peripherique. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine.
The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of F.
The pull-out toolbox slides back into its nest and close the The woman is still hunched over.
Huh? What is it? What do you want?
She's just...
You hear that, Loman? A pilgrim is...
A lorry stuck in the windows are clear. They've been recently washed.
Right to work! Right to...
Looking for something?
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign said,
No. You need...
a colourful...
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health.
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito, bullet holes, and an RCM sticker.
Yes, for sending mail.
You drop the white envelope in the darkness. It lands with a soft thud on what sounds like a couple of letters.
Let's go back to Everard. This better be worth it after what you...
There is a hollow ring as you kick the box. It sounds like your toe has suffered damage. It hurts.
Cool. You really showed that mail collection bugs.
He does not actually think it's cool. If anything, the lieutenant feels sorry for the poor box. He's leaning in to inspect the layers of graffito that deface it.
I don't. Let's go.
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books? Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for...
Because you know each other. She's been talking to you so openly because you've talked before.
Yes, I used to stand out there all the time, before Mother told me to focus on my homework. You've been running around all week without your shirt on, sir, telling people about being a star or something. I don't really understand who those stars are. Of course, you stopped by a few times. You certainly look better than the last time I saw you. Yeah, I can see. You don't have party eyes anymore.
Party eyes. Yes, of course. That makes sense.
You know, like a cat in the dark, all big and wide-eyed. It certainly looks odd on a man.
The swiveling eyes of a loony drug addict. That is what she meant. You were probably gurning too. Good thing she didn't say party eyes loud. Her mother's nearby. Fuck yeah. You should get some party eyes right now. Snap those sequins on you, boy. Oh baby, that's not what you have to worry about. Worry about the important thing.
I didn't know I had to do that. I'm glad I could help you, sir.
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken. The display rack is brimming with war.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime...
Vigilance officer, what can this all...
It is such a pleasure to see you again.
Everything's still cool here, officer. You keep coming back. That's good, officer. Keep browsing those clothes, keep saving them.
The speakers below are banged up and worthless. The sneakers triumph over them. They're the star of the show here.
The shine on these sunglasses lasts a lifetime, officer. 100% guaranteed.
gnarled hawthorn tree on Rue de Saint-Gilles Lane endures the wintry gusts with ease. The hawthorn tree is disappointed by your betrayal and psychopathic tendencies. Also, your fist hurts. The pain, it is nothing. Revel in it. Absorb it. Gain power from it. Good. Everyone must suffer. You, the tree, everyone.
Had enough assaulting Madre Natura?
The gnarled hawthorn tree on Rue de Saint-Gilles Lane. Homosexuals underground. Maybe you should stop obsessing about your own and other people's sexuality. Feels like it's about time to do that. You thought about this for 8 hours? Not only should you stop, you should tell Kim you've stopped obsessing about other people's sexuality too. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. Unless you already got him killed because you were obsessing about your sexuality. There's no way of telling from within your brain. But for your own sake, please say you didn't.
Yes? Okay. Great. Imagine all the time you'll have for work now. Matter of fact, we should get back to it right now. Mm-hmm. What? You didn't stop at all, did you? You are just obsessing about other people's sexuality now. But am I? I'll spare you another 20-hour mind project. Yes, I am. Now let's get back to work.
That's the truth.
Hello. Let me know if I can help you with anything. A transceiver, is it?
He produces a machine encased in a blue bakelite shell. Its black face covered in an assortment of pearl-topped knobs and dials. The lieutenant whistles a long, quivering note.
A genuine crystal sprach. This is a connoisseur's model, good for picking up foreign milieus.
The Model 9 also comes equipped with a signal purifier to suppress crosstalk. Especially good around here with our funky reception.
In other words, it'll put even the lieutenant's beloved Dynawave to shame.
It's about as close to perfection as a transceiver. You'll be back again. I've got a feeling. For the moment, you'll be back again.
All the old boomboxes are there. Blink. A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps. file cabinet stands steady as ever, and the upper drawer. The file cabinet stands steady as ever. Whatever's hidden here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. However, there is a little handwritten note stuck on the side of the drawer. It appears to be a to-do list written in large, uneven capital letters. Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everard's plants, sweep office floor, more banners. All items on the list have been crossed out and the note itself is crumpled.
One of his aides must have left it. Nothing incriminating here.
The special borscht seems a bit odd in the list. Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everard's plant. All items on the list have been crossed out and the note itself is crumpled. Hundreds of documents and the same material. You already went through all of these. The drawer slides shut smoothly. The door seems to be locked.
Oh, hey, mister. I'm not gonna bother you with a long greeting, just like we talked about. Oh, yes, yes. I leave all kinds of notes for myself. That old head of mine ain't so good at keeping things in no more. I almost forgot about the borscht. Oh yes, I've been taking special whirling borscht to the men every day since the strike started. It's very, very good. Makes a man feel so warm and happy. I feel like I could take on Mr. Renadan's boar dogs every time the lunch is done. Yes, yes, I'm taking it to them. The borscht keeps them happy and in fighting spirits. Makes you all warm inside. They brew it in the whirling in rags. Oh, the whirling's cook. He makes it. Them is always talking with Mr. Manana in that weird language and laughing together. He doesn't speak what we speak. He's from Grad. Oh, sure, mister. Sure. You do that. Yes, sir.
He didn't actually understand what you meant, and now he's just nodding along.
Mr. Dubois, a pleasure as always. You don't have to sit down this time, since you've already sat on that chair. The Golden Boy returns once more. Wonderful. Simply wonderful, Harry. Of course, I already knew this. My friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of Martinez a future and proven to be a true man of the left. I can finally trust you now. You're in my inner circle. You too, Mr. Kitsuragi. We can talk about anything. The strike, the murder, your lost gun, nothing is off the table.
I don't know. Your dirty forgery fingers aren't sure if playing this one straight was the right thing to do. We would have preferred trickery, but the choice was yours, sire. As always, you are the liege, and you're in.
I did not, Harry. Although I am very, very glad he's dead. Why, a war, of course.
And what do you have to gain from a war?
Victory, Mr. Kitsuragi. I have victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they even realize there is a war. I have. It's a great story, Harry. Did you also know how the bee colony kills the giant hornet? They swarm and blanket it entirely until it suffers a massive heat stroke and dies. Harry, we outnumber them 1,500 to 1, and that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Revachol, and with public opinion on our side, we can hold off 2 men, or 15 men, or even 50 men. The more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them, even the moralists think they're in bad taste. Harry, there is no strike, only war. Class war. Or, in business terms, a dawn raid. Or wait. Is that when you still pay them something? Because we won't do that. We're not going to give nothing. We're going to take Terminal B away from them. The roads, the gates, the containers, that big crane, even the damn coffee maker. We're going to take all of it for the people, and fuck Wild Pines.
So that's why you haven't let Joyce in?
Yes. It's also why I let that midget Gaumont go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, he knows how to get in here. That woman can't tell her tits from her arsehole. She has no chance. Because we're friends, Harry. Besides, it doesn't matter now. You can go tell her if you want. It won't change the course of events. We have a significant head start. It's already happening. $2,372. Plus yours truly, of course.
2,373 is a sizable contingent for a labor organization in Revachol.
Harry! By now, you should know I would never do anything tricky like that. However, if the construction noise and limited street access makes some people consider moving, well, let's just say there'll be freshly renovated buildings near the roundabout where those poor people can finally enjoy a significant uptick in quality of life. I'm talking real affordable workers' palaces.
He proudly spreads his hands to demonstrate the size of the palaces. They're very large.
So the village is doomed.
You were there, you saw the place, a wasteland, there's nothing left. But mark my words, officers, we are going to reset it. Reset! I have big plans for Martinez, and they do not include humans living in those pig sheds on the coast. That land will be used for municipal buildings and commerce. Harry, imagine a youth centre supermarket church complex, employing hundreds, no, thousands of people. The coast will be lit up with enterprise and life. All those ruins out there turned into low-income housing. Harry, enough is enough. We're taking this district back. The war was 50 years ago, for God's sake. It's time to move on. Yes, I do. I got the centre, I got room for a retail complex, and in 4 years, I'll get the church too. The wheels are already turning, Harry. The wheels of progress. This post-war limbo, I won't stand for it. There are kids practically playing with their own feces out there. It cannot go on.
But will there be giant statues of the Clare brothers towering above it all? Joyce knew he was up to something.
I'm not a symbolist, Harry. I'm a realist. My statue will be Martinez rebuilt. 5-story building complexes, workers on welfare, and landowners in Azon hating me. That will be my statue. And yours. We're doing this together. Damn right I am, Harry. I'm gonna make the working man as rich as she is one day. That's my job. Just like yours is to keep the peace. Oh, you mean what sort of goods are gonna be flowing through? How am I gonna replace all the contacts we'll lose once the poo-poo hits the fan? The clients will ditch us. Harry, we've thought of everything.
Clients would take a well-known multinational conglomerate over a local mobster any day.
Sure, some will go, but mark my words. The company will be unpleasantly surprised to see how many of them stay loyal to Martinez, and to the new competitive contracts we can offer. With renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership, the men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be surprised to see how fast things go without parasites latching on. We'll have our hands free to pursue bold, exotic new revenue streams.
That's drugs.
Drug trafficking.
Drug trafficking? Don't be stupid, Mr. Kitsuragi. There are perfectly legal, 100% ethical chemical factories on the Samaran Isola. You don't need to be colonialist about it. All they do is produce components to keep the pharmaceutical industry running. That's people's health we're talking about. Old grannies, little babes, people with disabilities. The company thinks transporting these chemicals in bulk looks bad, has bad optics, may be illegal in some countries. The Debarders Union, however, we're all about the large volume column.
In bulk shipping, large volume column is a major buyer, a shark.
We're gonna transport the living daylights out of those materials, Harry. So your sick kid can get his Benefed and your wacky uncle doesn't have to come off risperidone.
Benefed is a children's cold medicine, usually apricot flavored, and risperidone is used to treat severe psychosis.
And the kids on the street can get speed and pyrrolidone.
I'm an old-fashioned guy, Mr. Kitsuragi. I sometimes grab a beer with the boys, but I have no idea about the things you just mentioned. But if I were to supply ingredients for some sort of rainbow party, I would make sure the Union took a fantastic share. And I'd keep that stuff far away from Martinez.
He's basically admitting to it.
It's also far removed from my men and the people of Martinez who've put their trust in me. Anyway, let's not focus on the sensationalism of the drug trade. This hypothetical drug trade is all anyone ever seems to be interested in. It would only be a small part of the harbour's turnover, just like the harbour is, but a small part of Martinez. Let's look at the big picture. Martinez as a whole. There are little girls out there with dreams of making music. Young mothers who want to start businesses. Models who want to walk catwalks and steel welders who want to weld steel. I'm gonna unite them all into one economic body. We're gonna incorporate this place to Kingdom Come. Everyone's gonna be in on the wealth, and everyone's gonna pull their weight. Yes, if you start thinking about it like that, the socialist municipal body sort of is like a corporation, isn't it? It uses corporate law. We're incorporated. I like to think we're using the best parts of all the ideologies here, Harry. We're way past specific union members now. This is the big time. We're talking about the future of Revachol here, Harry. You can bother Leonard with that. He loves to run his mouth on such matters. But I'm in big-time mode, Harry.
There's something different about him now. He's more vibrant, more alive in his big-time mode.
Harry, I've got to be honest with you. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this information weighed heavily on me, but it had to be done. An old woman has it, and let me tell you, Harry, word on the street is she's a character, so watch out.
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy, the one he described as terrifying.
Yes, the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. Crazy stuff, Harry. Selling your gun like that? Wild. Anyway, the neighbors of this old woman contacted my men because they trust me and the Debardeurs Union. Apparently, she was waving it around at the entrance to her building. Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry. But she's an old lady. How dangerous can she possibly be? Oh, and she calls herself the Pigs.
I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally, someone calls themselves a pig.
As I said, she's a character. I didn't have time for details. It sounds like she's unstable, but don't worry. No one got hurt.
We might be looking at someone with a medical history here. Watch out.
I already have. Tonight, starting 10 o'clock, near the old fish market on the coast. The one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry. I would never set you up for anything dangerous, but you did ask for this. Now, back to the fun stuff.
More fun stuff. Seems like we already have fun stuff to do.
Great, Harry, great. I think we have truly built a bridge between Martinez and Jamrock today. We have united the RCM and the Debardeurs Union. This has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing something off me, my door is always open. I'm always happy to educate and entertain you, my friend. Very nice, Harry. Is there anything? I don't know what that means, Harry. Shady brew? There are so many moving parts in my operation, I can't keep track of them all. You know what? Don't even tell me. Whatever it is, do it. Surprise me. Just one thing. If you can, make it even shadier.
He sincerely has no idea what you were talking about. And he doesn't care either.
Oh, hey, mister. I'm not gonna bother you with a long greeting, just like we talked about. Mr. Evrat doesn't really want me to talk to people about union guys. But who did you want to talk about? Mr. Edgar is Mr. Evrat's brother. He looks a bit younger, he does, but a very smart fellow. Very smart fellow indeed. He's away on some union business. Not even in Revachol, they say. Huh? Sure, mister. He's a union man through and through. Good guy. He's very calm, laid back, doesn't do much, talks to Evrat sometimes. Honestly, I don't know what he does for us, but it must be important because everybody likes him. Yes, they do. I think that's what he does. He makes everyone feel... Whoa, he's really something. He doesn't talk much to me usually, but when he does, I don't really understand most of what he's saying. Actually, I don't think he would like me running my mouth about him like that. Once he said he's a dragon to this mob fellow who came picking a fight with some union men. Yeah, I think he really believes Jean-Luc was a dragon because he ran right off. Another time he almost killed another guy, but I shouldn't talk about that. Who do you mean, mister? I don't know anyone like this, mister. Maybe he's one of Mr. Everett's fancy friends. He knows all kinds of fancy people with suits and purdy carriages. Oh, Titus is a longshoreman through and through. He was born on a boat, they say. His veins are probably filled with salt water, I tell you. Nice friendly sort, old Titus is. I'd best not. I mean, I could, but I don't think Mr. Everett would like it very much. You better ask him yourself, mister. The night guard? Ooh, he's a peculiar fellow. He's the strong, silent type, you could say. We talk all the time, but I don't really know much about him. He plays petanque with my old human studies teacher, Mr. Martin, down at the plaza. I think he's the only fellow who actually knows old Renee. They lived on the same street their entire lives, even dated the same girl on and off for as long as I can remember. Mr. Martin, yes. Don't really remember much about him. I was just a boy back then.
Mr. Martin, Gaston also taught history and human studies to the Clear brothers.
Sure, mister. What can Leo do for you?
Your race descent has temporarily halted.
All I'm wondering, man.
Right to work!
Loma, you called me at an hour.
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man. What's on your mind?
Ease into it. Don't go too far. This seems like a personal matter.
I'm okay, man. Just... the jam's got me down. The fumes, the chemical rainbows, the tarpaulin stretched on the frames and the dull engines off.
Maybe the full-on, direct approach wasn't correct. Damn, it's tricky business looking into someone's eyes and not doing it wrong. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft...
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? 57.
In the cabin, you see a set.
Hi again, gendarme. Bye-bye, gendarme.
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod, acknowledging your presence. The mention of mañana gets his attention. He smiles and delivers a whole slew of unfamiliar words and lively gestures. Then he falls silent again. The man says a couple of sentences in that strange language of his and then seems to wait for you to speak. I'm pretty sure he asked you a question. He doesn't know your language. You can just say something cool in return.
Boss need more vodka?
Okay, so it's vodka that keeps the men happy and in good spirits. Clever move by the Union.
Of course, vodka. Now that makes a very, very special borscht indeed. Turn it up and then ask for some yourself. Turning it up seems like a dangerous idea, honestly. The place is a powder keg. He smiles, nodding vigorously, then pours half a bottle of vodka into the pot. With a whistle, he stirs the brew. He smiles and nods enthusiastically and, chattering away in his language, ladles some brew into a small thermal cup, then hands it to you. He looks up at you, then looks away quickly, shrugging and muttering something to him. Shrugging is an international sign for, no, I don't know what's behind it. You see a heavy steel. The door does not budge. The cobalt blue's old cobalt paint. It leads to a side building, adjacent to this one. The old building next to this, half ruined. Whatever is behind it must be older.
Hey, was there something you needed?
Yes? What is it? That was pretty good, Harry. Wasn't it, Jean?
Whoa, how does she know your name? She probably heard it from somewhere. You have to be more careful, karaoke star. Names are dangerous.
Yeah, that was absolute shit, if you want my opinion. Drunken shit. Haven't wanted anything to end this badly since I had cluster headaches. Horrible. Truly horrible. I beg of you, don't ever subject anyone to this torture again. I mean, seriously, you need to...
Jean, it's not right. Don't make it worse, and I really liked it.
She actually did.
Yes, I called you by your name. God, everybody knows your name. Please go finish your investigation, so everyone can go home.
Kim also tries not to look at the pile of taped viscera on the carpet, or the weird suitcase on the hat rack, or the potted plant dying in the corner. But it's all just too morbid to ignore. The man is finding it hard not to trip on the tape, and not to send any of the bottles rolling across the floor.
And by that you mean crimes against humanity? I know what you meant.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your clean-shaven face, adorned with The The door is closed. Still, the lieutenant. Still, the lieutenant. Still, the lieutenant. Still, the lieutenant. Still, the lieutenant.
Again? I can't believe it.
Again, good luck.
I've got nothing to say to you.
It's you again. What is it?
Behind the dockworkers, a ceiling height window. The hawthorn.
Fuck, does Kuno care?
What's going on? Like you don't have enough on your plate. You feel a sudden surge of self-pity coming on.
Get you should.
That went wrong. He took it as a compliment.
Kuno doesn't.
Trash containers. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste. The container sounds a muffled gong.
Vigilance officer, what can this all...
It is such a pleasure to...
Yes?
The door is closed. A plaster cast bust depicts
Give me a moment.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire?
this door is made of metal. No one.
Let's go.
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 You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
The trap is full of locusts, but they seem weak and unhealthy. A few lie on their backs with their legs twitching. Still, no phasmid.
Yes, what is it?
A better deal! Yeah! Medium car!
Oh, hey man, it's good to see you.
Goodbye.
Yo, man, what's on your mind? So your cop ways came through again. Impressive. Let's see what you got. Thought I felt a special sign coming off this one. I'll just have egg pop in a frequency dial here, and we should be set.
Rarely has there been a more apt pairing of man and transceiver. This is a portent of great success.
Alright, Lawfarer, we're ready to do this. I have to warn you though, once we commit, there's no stopping until we've seen it all the way through. No pauses, no second chances, this is our shot. You got it? So any cop prep you gotta do, you do it now. We'll wait if we have to. Don't sweat that. Egg found something down near the waterlock. Some maniac abandoned a perfectly good power source.
That maniac is obviously you, which makes the power source your half-sunken Caprice 40.
That explains why it was covered in cop colours. Whole thing's totaled, but lucky for us the engine on the back is still perfectly good. All I have to do is run a cable from the engine up the Centaur Man's Memorial. It won't last forever, but it should buy us enough time to get you synced up with a big bang. How should I know? It's up to everyone to know their own needs. Whatever keeps your body and soul in top working condition.
At the very least, you should make sure you're wearing a good pair of gloves.
Personally, I'm gonna make sure I've got a steady supply of prep tied handy. Do what you have to do. We're not going anywhere.
Hardcore church! Nowhere else to go!
Like Egg said.
Welcome back.
The mother of humanism stands above you. Why? That does seem to be a problem. I don't know. What are we thinking of? The mother of humanism. An old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune in front of it. The door hasn't been opened in a long while. You see a handle. Just dead and dying locusts, and the slow swaying of surrounding reeds. There's some tear, an empty... The edges of the pages are worn and smudged. A lot of people have read about the Devil Woman's altercations with the Heimdall man. The jacket copy proclaims, "Man from Heimdall returns in his most exciting adventure yet. After crashing into a strange jungle, cannibalistic natives abduct his only surviving comrade, Noble Tyribald. Before Man from Heimdall can mount a rescue, he is ambushed by a tribe of female warriors and taken to the ancient citadel." You open the book to a random page. Man from Heimdall, wielding his two Zweihanders, is carving through a sea of savages, his visage fixed in grim determination. His arms, whirling like windmills, are soaked with the blood of his enemies. Mangled corpses litter the battlefield. Good God, this is some retrograde stuff. When was this shit written? You flip to the copyright page. This book was written in 38. Berserker rage burns in his azure-hued eyes as he brings glory and honor to his long-lost Heimdall tribe. From the village of Heimdall, the ivory giant roars like an ice bear, and the winds of Gatla howl out his name. Man from Heimdall rides on a gilded griffin, his golden mane billowing in the breeze. Both Zweihanders sheathed on his back. He is off to war. Will he conquer his enemies? Will the steel muscles of Man from Heimdall gleam in the humid jungle air? Yet the man does not sweat. In meditation, his soul drifts in the frigid northlands he calls home. A passage reads, "The man from Heimdall looks up, his eyes blue as the mountain lakes of his homeland. He rarely speaks, but now his voice booms in the darkened throne room. Do not try to sap my masculine essence, wicked temptress. Son of Heimdall will never succumb to your seductive wiles. Thine spells are no match for purity and strength of will. Brothers of Heimdall, stand above the vices of flesh, for it is weak and corruptible, yet mine is forged in gore and strife." Queen Lydiana just laughs, a sultry and salacious sound, then says, "I have grand plans for you, Man from Heimdall." She gestures her diabolical hand toward an array of potions and unguents. "First, you shall please me. Then lead my armies against the vicious cannibals. Not a muscle moves in the face of the Man from Heimdall. Yet inside, there is turmoil. This goes against all he holds sacrosanct." In the final pages, Man from Heimdall mounts Gallivaren, his mighty griffin, and turns his gaze to the horizon. Queen Lydiana is dead, but an army of cannibals is storming the gates, and still there's no word of trusty Tyribald. To find out what happens next, you'll have to pick up Man from Heimdall and the Three-Eyed Skull, available in fine bookstores everywhere. Spring 39. The cover of this tattered paperback features the man from Heimdall, standing atop a pile of bloody corpses. His two Zweihanders are crossed over his massive chest in a dramatic X, their blades dripping with gore. Behind him rise the harsh, snow-capped peaks of his native Northlands. In bold red letters, the title, Heimdallar, the man from Heimdall, unfurls like a banner. In the foreground, a nearly nude woman lies spread in supplication, her privates strategically covered by her flowing black hair. The back blurb reads, "His latest adventure serves as the perfect introduction to the savage Heimdall saga. Meet man from Heimdall, his faithful blood brother Tyribald, the noble Lord Hrothgar, and some of their most fearsome foes yet, for the Northlands, for Heimdall." Below, in smaller font, you see the parenthetical, adapted from Man from Heimdall and the Necromancer's Treasure, Man from Heimdall, Lord of Hrothgar, and Man from Heimdall, the Curse of Nacht-Hera. A brazen attempt to bilk fans for more money by splicing together old stories under a new title. People find comfort in familiarity, remembering old experiences, looking at old photos, reading old stories. The story opens in medias res. The man from Heimdall and his band of northern reavers are in the bowels of an ancient temple, surrounded by an army of gibbering whites, led by the deathless necromancer. One by one, the brave Northmen fall to the relentless crush of undead, only to join their number as reanimated corpses. By nightfall, only the man from Heimdall and his blood brother, noble Tyribald, are left standing against the dead horde. "It is an honor to die by your side, brother," Tyribald cries, as his battle axe beheads one of their reanimated comrades. 9 Tyribald, the man from Heimdall, bellows over the army of flesh and bone. "Have courage, for the Northlands, for Heimdall." He leaps to the mezzanine to face the black-eyed figure, and like a mad ice bear, whirling twin Zweihanders, Sturm and Drang, he plows through the ranks of the deathless, surrounding the necromancer. It is physically impossible for a human being to effectively dual-wield Zweihander swords in any kind of real-life combat situation, and with deadly finesse, his twin blades scissor the necromancer's head from its body. The undead legions collapse like ragdolls as the dark magic leaves them, and the two Northmen stand alone in their cursed temple, where the bodies of their lost brothers litter the floors. A few chapters later, the man from Heimdall and Tyribald are in a completely different setting, high above an arid desert, riding a pair of griffins that always seem to appear at narratively convenient moments. This book makes a mockery of the very idea of good plotting, though something tells you coherence was never the point. The Northmen find themselves in the court of a powerful southern king, Lord Hrothgar. The old king beseeches the man from Heimdall to rid his kingdom of the Nacht-Hera, a subterranean clan of blind wizards who traded their souls for demonic powers. The man from Heimdall extracts a high price from the desperate king. He asks land for the homeless desert pygmies living exiled in the kingdom's borderlands. Hrothgar offers the hand of his eldest daughter instead, but the son of winter does not budge. What do you mean? Because the flame of justice burns bright within his chest, because, above all, he's driven to bring honor to the name of his beloved Heimdall, because his noble Cutlan blood lusts for glory and conquest. It cannot be denied. What do you mean, is that all? He is the man from Heimdall, forged in the fury of battle. Death was his sire, and blood his dam. He had but 14 winters when he left his frigid homelands in Cutla to seek glory and honor. That is his character. He doesn't even have a real name. What is inside this man? Or is muscle and bone all he is? He is the wildest man alive. The only mortal strong enough to wield the twin Zweihanders, Sturm and Drang, whose names mean storm and... What are you, a book critic? Enough. You're ruining the pacing of the story. Now where did you leave off? Ah yes. What pacing? You skip past a section detailing an elaborate banquet with many toasts, as well as the long and perilous journey from Hrothgar's keep to the ancient forest of Yesdar, where our heroes infiltrate the Nachtherre's dire hall. In the center of the great hall stands a blood altar on which a pair of Nachtherre are disemboweling a shrieking peasant, an unholy rite that empowers the Nachtherre forbidden magic. As the vile ceremony ends, the sound of steel unsheathing draws the Nachtherre's attention to a pair of cloaked figures standing in the doorway. Swiftly, the visitors toss off their cloaks and unsheathe glimmering northern steel. It's the man from Heimdall and his valiant blood brother, Tyribald. In an instant, the Nachtherre summon a horde of gibbering orcanoids who rush our heroes. The hall fills with the clang of blades and the screams of the dying as the floor goes slick with steaming orcanoid viscera. Oh, for fuck's sake. When the din of battle settles, only the man from Heimdall and Tyribald remain standing. Exhausted and dripping with the entrails of their foes, the two Northmen confront the foul Nachtherre. The man from Heimdall's soda-like blue eyes fill with indescribable fury. For the Northlands, he cries, rushing headlong into a desperate melee. He probably is, but you can't be sure, cause this one ends in a cliffhanger and a footnote saying, to be continued in Heimdallaman at the Gates of Tomorrow. Coming soon to your local bookstore. Considering the sheer amount of different Heimdallaman books out there, it's very unlikely you're ever gonna find the sequel. The man from Heimdall stares at you on the cover. You see, I once... A few locusts trudge along the wall of the trap. The rest are piled in a heap in the corner, dead. No phasmid anywhere. The trap is filled with dead and dying locusts. Most of them aren't moving anymore. You still can't see a phasmid anywhere.
Always my pleasure to be of assistance to the RCM. Godspeed, and if we don't meet again, bonne chance. Always my pleasure to be of assistance.
Metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. There's a bitter, caustic taste on the tip of your tongue as you look at the handset.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep...
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime.
The display rack is brimming with worn paper, rows and rows of Heimdall men, maybe 100. Not even close. Man from Heimdall in hell. Man.
Trying to sneak up on me again!
The door is closed again. Nothing to do here anymore. In your hand, you hold 4/5 of Dick Mullen and the mistaken identity. Why? There's truly no point. You'll never know who did it, because those pages have literally been scattered to the wind. If you insist. But again, it's really pointless. The story opens with a knock at the door. Detective Dick Mullen is greeted by an old friend, Charlie Spillane, who's come to Mullen to ask a favor on this dark and cold night. Spillane needs Mullen to drive him in from Vesper to a small town along the Insulindian coast. Despite his friend's apparent agitation, Mullen does as he's asked, then returns home, where he passes out drunk, as he does most nights. 2 days later, Mullen is arrested by the Vesper police and charged with the murder of Charlie Spillane. At his interrogation, Mullen learns that Charlie Spillane was shot in a bar in the very town Mullen dropped him off in by a man matching Mullen's description. Desperate to clear his name, Mullen manages to convince the Vesper police to release him for 3 days so that Mullen may solve his friend's murder and prove his innocence.
What's the matter, detective?
The lieutenant shrugs, resigned to the idea that his profession will rarely, if ever, be accurately represented in art and literature. Of course, Mullen didn't do it. That's the whole premise of the book. Anyway, Mullen returns to the seaside bar where Spillane was murdered and meets a beautiful, mysterious woman named Diana Deneuve. Deneuve reveals that she was Spillane's lover and that he was mixed up with a local amphetamine smuggling operation. As soon as Mullen begins pulling at strings, the whole conspiracy begins to unravel. Not only is the local police captain in on the amphetamine ring, so is the son of a powerful politician and a strung-out art collector named Torvald, each of whom, one evening, Diana Deneuve comes to Mullen's hostel room in tears. The two of them drink half a bottle of vodka, and soon they're seeking comfort in each other's arms. As the two lovers share a post-coital cigarette, Diana Deneuve turns to Mullen and says, "By the way, Dick, there was something else I meant to tell you." Whatever it is, Mullen never hears the words. A blow to the base of his skull knocks him out cold instantly. When Mullen comes to, Deneuve is dead on the hostel bed next to him. To make matters worse, his clothes are covered with her blood. Mullen trashes his blood-stained clothes and flees the hostel, knowing it's only a matter of hours before the cops discover Deneuve's body. if they haven't been tipped off already. The heat is on. If Dick Mullen can't solve both murders before the cops catch up to him, he's going away for life. And you'll never know what happens, because the rest of the book is gone. What makes you think this isn't the final Dick Mullen case? How do you know this isn't the final case? This could go on forever. In your hand, you hold 4/5